How's it going, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Crypto Clout. I am your host, FaZe Crypto. Currently, at the time of recording this video, we're looking at a Bitcoin value of 8,921. But the subject of today's video is, of course, going to be DigiByte. I've actually been looking forward to making this video update. We haven't talked about DigiByte for about a day, and now there have been some pretty interesting developments that have occurred in the cryptocurrency space. So I think that it'll be interesting to just review and recap, and of course answer some of the different questions that have been put forward on recent videos. I always like to respond to your comments, especially when people have interesting, informative say. One of the key things on that regard that I wanted to bring up was people who were talking about the concept of the 51% attack on DigiByte and what we've been seeing in the news. And of course, the talk about this. And I really think that it's important to stress that DigiByte is probably one of the most apt to be able to defend against something like this. And of course, it's one of those situations that you have to face with a grain of salt. It's a reality. For every sort of cryptocurrency at one point or another, people bring up related conversational points. This sort of importance to have a balance between understanding that optimistic approaches to these things. But I think that what I saw in the comments, as far as the faith and the sort of that's built around DigiByte, and people who've come forward and actually contributed to the discussion on this topic, it is something impressive. I mean, I think that people need to understand just how tight-knit the DigiByte community is. And I think that it's pretty awesome just to see how, this community has come together. And I mean, it makes sense. I mean, DigiByte is, well spread around the world. I mean, it's interesting to see, DigiByte, true decentralization, and of course speed and all these other factors culminating. But I have an article right here that's interesting. DigiByte in search of developers to improve its ecosystem. This is an interesting article. DigiByte is looking for developers who can help ongoing projects to dramatically improve developer engagement. It is interesting just how DigiByte, they have so much accomplished already. They have a lot under their belt, but they're always continuing to build and do more, which also is interesting to say, and of course, just how, the cryptocurrency space has been, developing. Also, I have this article right here, which is, going to be a pretty interesting one to look at, it is pretty interesting just to see how the news has been developing, and we've learned a lot about ourselves and about cryptocurrency. Especially with what we saw that happened recently with oil. I think that it is indicative of really one of a few major points, which is, in retrospect, we have sort of been operating in a post World War II global ecosystem. The economies of the world and everything are very much been post World War II, even till this day. But what we've seen now, with these different breakthroughs in computing, the prevalence of the internet, and the pretty much the overall paradigm shift that's currently occurring. What we need to understand now is that it's no longer going to be oil and natural resources that are the determiners of the power structure. It's computing power at its core. In the context of Bitcoin, this does bring up some interesting perspectives, and it will definitely be interesting just to see how. Of course, this is notwithstanding. We do see when in direct correlation with what we could expect to see happening with the price of a Bitcoin. There's many different variables at play, things that we need to see happening in terms of regulation and so forth. But I am bullish when it comes to DigiByte. It's one of my favorite altcoins. I'm always happy to be making these videos talking about it. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Of course, remember, I'm not your dad. I'm not your financial advisor. You have to do your own research and come to your own conclusions. But I think that we've covered some pretty interesting topics today, and had a pretty interesting contribution to the ongoing discussion that's happening on this channel. So it will be interesting just to see the comments that we get and what people think. Let me know what you think about the potential for 51% attack on DigiByte. And of course, what I've said about it. I don't think that it's anything to worry about. But that's just my perspective. All that being said, make sure that you guys subscribe. Of course, comment down below. Like I said, let us know what country you're watching from. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.